do you guys ever have that situation where you're at a tough point in life, right? High school, whatever, and you go to your parents, and your dad or your mom, let's go with your dad, he gives you something like, he gives you the solution, but you don't know what it is. And you don't quite understand it. You don't know why he gave you that until after the problem is solved, and you're like, oh my God, it makes so much sense now. Well, by the time a man realizes that maybe his father was right, he usually has a son who thinks he's wrong, by Wadsworth. The way I interpret this is perspective. Everything's about perspective. And basically, it's about how you perceive stuff in bad situations. How you perceive stuff in bad situations. And so I have 3 solutions to this, and how you can just see things from different sides. First off, you want to sort of take your emotions out of it. You want to sort of like, say you're really heated, right? You got in an argument. And you just need to sort of like take a step back, think about it, look at it like what happened to them, look at what they're thinking, how they feel about the situation, then look at it from your side, what happened to you and how you feel, and then try to come to a conclusion. Secondly, you don't want to try and get back at whoever did it, or try to like sort of get back at them and say, oh, you got your karma, right? You want to you want to try and make it so that you both benefit from the situation, because in the end, getting back at someone isn't what's going to solve the situation. And then lastly, you should just seek out others' advice, because sometimes the situation you will not be able to step back and really get your emotions out of it, and the best thing you can do is go to a parent, a friend, or anyone else who can help you out, and they can see it from that different point of view. Thank you.
You want to keep the secret? You may keep the secret at 2 in the day.
I could have done the third one, but it would have been probably my last speech, right?
Right, well, the hypothetical example question that you have at the beginning is a little on the nose, but it's also a little abstract. I did like the interpretation of the quote and going with the notion of it being a matter of perspective, but you've got to have something to say about perspective. You get hesitant as you're transitioning to the body of the speech, and then there are obviously a couple of places where you kind of stop trying to either remember what it was that you were saying or come up with something to say on each of those points. And that's one of the problems, is that you don't have examples to point to talk about, something that you can relax and just converse about as if it was an everyday experience. Instead, you're trying to keep it at this meaningful level and kind of philosophical level, that you're struggling to find a way to say it without going in circles a little bit on it. And the pacing is the thing that is, I think, the most obvious about the things that you need to work on here. It feels a little awkward at times. There are some odd pauses here and there. You do look up at the audience, but you do have a tendency to look at this part of the room right here. So there may be a couple of friendly faces that you saw at some point, and so you just started talking to them. Right at the end, you got a little bit over on that side of the room, but I would say for 90% of the presentation, it's sort of like there's somebody, probably, like I said, a couple of people over here who've responded to something that you've said, and you say, let me focus on those folks, and you get a little bit more comfortable. I thought you had a lot of good gestures, good indicators. You look like you were kind of engaged with what you were talking about, but you got stuck, like I said, on the ideas. And you had an organizational structure, what you didn't have is an example to come up with, to talk about on each of those points, and that's sort of where it starts wandering around. All right, thank you.